Hey everybody, welcome into Urban Meyer's Pint House. This is Weekend Kickoff. It is brought to you, as always, by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. And we're going to have an interesting time. Might not be as fun as it was last week or at any point in the last 2 years. We've never done a show coming off of a loss. So let's see how it goes. That's Zach Boren. Justin Zwick, he's out here on a Thursday, not a Monday.
On a Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday.
Tyvis Powell, yeah, that Coors Light is coming. Don't worry, Jay-Z. DB Landerson, Tyvis Powell, I'm Austin Warden. 35-28, that's what it is.
I don't think anyone called that last Thursday.
Yeah, what were the scores? I would love to know what y'all put out there for the scores.
I think we all had Ohio State covering, and I don't believe that happened.
I'm not rebuttaling my answer.
It's a very unfortunate.
Yeah.
No, it did not. And I think in the facility all this week, you've been over there multiple times during interviews. I think there is a lot of revisiting schemes, revisiting assignments, revisiting coaching duties. I think everything is kind of on the table over there, and we've been there after a loss, you know, and some losses you take better than others. Some you say, hey, you can't wait to get out there and practice and regroup and get going after it again. But there's some, like this past Saturday, that are just ugly and they stick with you.
Yeah.
And it just hits hard. It hits home a little bit harder, and that's what happened this past Saturday. You could tell in the stadium. You could tell after the game. You could tell in the press conferences Monday, Tuesday, even yesterday. That loss is still hitting home for this team, and you can tell they're doing some digging over there.
How do you get over that, Jay-Z?
It's tough to do, no doubt. You go out and win your next one and get that taste out of your mouth.
That's the best way to do it.
Last week was just like a car wreck in slow motion. You kept thinking something was going to happen, that we were going to change it and get back into the game or take the lead, and it just never did. And there's just a lot of things unanswered coming out of that game. And you've had a week. It's not that many days of practice. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, for the most part, to get stuff in there and get some hits in and kind of get back at it. You hope they come out with a different. I don't know if they come out with a different idea. The bad thing is you're playing a team in Tulsa who you probably could go out there and just let the guys call their own plays, and you're probably going to roll them. So, is it going to be something where we're going to be able to see that it's all fixed until our next big game? But you got to get back out there. You got to kick that ball off in that first hit and just kind of forget about it and move on. You got everything that you came into the season, except an undefeated season. You have everything still in front of you. All you got to do is take care of business in the Big Ten.
You want to know something? There's only one way to get over this loss. Very simple. The players need to figure out a way to get over it. And when I say that, this isn't Ryan Day threatening Kerry Combs and defense staff with their jobs. This isn't the media or us crushing them for the way that they played or the coaching staff saying they should have done this, this, or this. The only way you get over this is you have a players-only meeting, and you look around, and guess what? You finally come to the table, come to the room, say, we're not entitled just because we go to Ohio State. We're not entitled to win every game. We're not entitled to go to the national championship. We're not entitled to go to the Final Four just because we play at Ohio State.
Right.
They need to take it upon themselves and say, hey, who wants to step up? What leader is going to step up? Because I was at that game on Saturday, and I don't think there was one person that was trying to lead that team. You had a freshman quarterback who was fighting his butt off, and no one can point the finger at that guy. No one can point the finger at that guy, the wide receivers, or the running backs, because they were fighting their butts off. But some other fingers need to be pointed, and some other guys need to step up and say, hey, I'm the leader here. This is what we need to do. You're either coming with me or we're leaving you behind.
You want me to go, Tyvis, or you want to go?
That was quite a sermon.
It was very. It was a.
Who wants to follow it up?
I'll rebuttal to that. I mean, honestly, I'm one of the few up here. Well, I won't say few, but I have dealt with a loss when you have the expectations is high. We was in the 2014 season where we came out and we thought we was just the greatest thing on the greatest show on turf as well, and we got hit right in the mouth by Virginia Tech, and I mean it was ugly. It was just about as ugly as this loss was for when Oregon came into our house and won. So, I mean, what it was we did some soul searching like Zach just spoke about. I mean, we came in and it just speaks on what type of group what type of team you have. Do you sit back and pout about the loss, or do you move on and move forward on to what's the next opponent, which would be Tulsa? They got to go out there and they got to get things done. I mean, yes, it's going to be some new changes that's got to be done on defense. Offensively, I think they was okay. They didn't run the ball effectively, which is it's like a cardinal sin at Ohio State because we gonna run the ball. So for us to not run the ball was kind of shocking. But as far as defensively goes, I mean, they're gonna come out there and this. Defense is a simple game. It's about running and hitting. Like, that's it. At the end of the day, I don't care what the scheme is. At the end of the day, you got to run and hit, and that was not being done. And you got to – if you play defense at Ohio State, you want to be the silver bullets. Like, that's the thing that I held the pride of. Like, it's not about me. Like, you got to do it for the people that was there before you. Like, we got a standard of that silver bullet defense with swag out there, and we go down, and it's just reckless abandon. And this team doesn't look like that right now. And they got to find that, like, expeditiously. Like, it has to happen if they have any chance on trying to hold the trophy up at the end.
I think it's one of these things. If you look at a lot of past years, especially the year that we won, the national championship, they take a tough loss to Vatech. The year that we've lost games that we shouldn't have lost. Every now and then, every great team needs a little bit of humbling pie. I'm going to call it for what it is. A lot of these guys haven't played a lot of football, like I said last week. But every now and then you need that, let me bring you back to reality moment to kind of step back, and it shows you, it allows you not only as a player but as a team and a staff to kind of reflect on, okay, as a player, what did not do that week in practice? As a coach, what did not do that week in practice? As a team, what do we need to work on that we honestly took for granted the prior week in practice? You know what I mean? And it sucks to say that sometimes, but every now and then, I don't care how great you are, how phenomenal you are, I don't care what the team is, you need a little bit of humbling pie. I think this past week was one of those games where they got humbled a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's going to come back to not only the players, the coaching staff, and just the team as a unit to say, you know what, it is what it is. One of Coach Johnson's famous lines was, it's over with. Turn the page on it. If you hold on to last week's game, it's going to roll over the next week's game. Turn the page on it. It's done. It's over with. The Oregon game, we can't get back. Tulsa game is what's ahead of us. You know what I mean?
Guys, this is where not that I disagree, but this is why I have another point of view from your guys' takes. You think about that Virginia Tech game, right? Mm-hmm. The energy and the juice was there.
Absolutely.
Running after the football, everything was there. The but the reason why they got beat is because Virginia Tech threw a bare defense at that offense that they weren't used to, right?
That's correct.
They threw something at them that just out-schemed them, right?
And defensively, we didn't get it done.
No doubt. Saturday, it wasn't a out-scheming issue. It was a no energy, no juice, no nothing. There was no effort on Saturday. That's the issue. You saw effort late in the fourth quarter. That's when you finally saw some effort.
On offense.
Uncomfortable,
I think
at that point in time,
at that point, no.
The 2 3 and outs in the fourth quarter.
The 2 3 and outs in the fourth quarter is where you saw some effort.
I agree.
My issue is, this isn't a scheme thing. This isn't.
Zach. I think it is, because the reason that you don't see no effort or energy is because they seem confused by what they're seeing, and it's allowing them to play slow.
Here's the other issue. Last year against Alabama, scheme thing. Mac Jones was throwing all over Alabama, right? You don't need a good scheme to stop the run.
No, you don't. That's a will. That's a want to.
How many? I think they had 600 yards on Saturday. You would know the facts. 600 yards. I think Anthony Brown, the quarterback, had 230 yards passing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a math major, but that leaves about 370 yards on the ground, right?
I agree.
Granted,
you got to be at 275.
But the way that they scored was a scheme.
But still, it's stopping the run. I don't care. I don't care if the coaches tell us to line up in goal line. When we're on defense, we're lining up on goal line, and guess what? They go 5 wide. We're going to adjust to it, and if they're going to run the ball at us, guess what? We're going to step up and hit them in the hole, and we're going to hold them at the line of scrimmage. The effort, energy is going to be there. It wasn't there on Saturday. Right. That's the issue that I have.
I don't disagree. I actually agree with your point, but I also do want to add that it is a scheme thing as well. They are confused. That's what's allowing them to play slow.
I mean, there was a time where we were guarding an ineligible receiver. There was a time where they look to score on the same play.
I'm not disagreeing with you, not at all. You're 100% correct, but I'm saying
it goes into the Bears defense as well. Maybe they came out with a look that our defense is saying, shoot, I haven't seen.
I get that, but here's my thing. How many times have we been on the field where next thing you know, you look around, it's like, hey, I don't care what Coach Fick called. I don't care.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah, hey, I don't care what they call. Guess what? They run the football. They run the football. We're gonna make a stop.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They're running the football. We're making a stop. So I'm not saying the scheme isn't. I'm not saying the scheme isn't wrong.
So it's the dudes.
I'm saying I'm saying the dudes need to step up.
I
That's
agree.
a bigger issue. And listen, when I was in college, I hated the media talking. I was like, they don't understand what we're going through. They don't understand the way we're preparing. I
Not
get it.
all of us.
No, Austin, I actually like you.
Y'all can
Wish you were around. Austin, there's a reason why I'm doing
Y'all
the
get
show
a pass.
with you.
Don't count.
But when you're playing, you kind of like put yourself in that mindset. Like, man, you guys don't know.
No, yeah.
But the issue is, with me, it's not. Hey, I'm not telling you how to play. I'm not telling you how to scheme. That's not my thing, and that's where a lot of media people get messed up. They want to talk about defense. They want to talk about this. I'm just here to talk about the effort and energy. That's all I'm here to talk about. When I see effort and energy, I didn't complain after Bama last year. They got beat. I'm not going to dwell on it. It is what it is. When you start having an effort with there starts becoming an issue with the effort and energy on the field, that's when I have a problem. In the scheme, it is what it is. But there's so many times. Listen, there were times when I looked at Ryan Shazier right next to me. I said, "Hey, whatever. Hey,
I know.
whatever. Hey, we're going. You know it.
I know, for sure.
We're going, man.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I know I'm going to find that dude with the ball as fast as I can.
And guess what? You look around, you say, guys, we know the way this is going. We're getting hit in the mouth right now. Guess what? It's about time we start throwing some haymakers back at these fools.
You're right.
And guess what? There were no haymakers thrown at all on Saturday.
I will say they did. I will say, hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. This is real quick. I will say that in the fourth quarter, when they needed those stops, when the offense started rolling and they needed a couple of stops, they got a couple of stops on defense.
2 stops at the end of the game. When you expect the offense to be perfect, with you.
No, I'm just saying that. What I'm saying is they showed fight, so it's there. Is what I'm saying.
So, but that makes me even more mad because
I agree.
First quarter, I was into the first 3.
What I'm saying is they actually have the ability. I don't know why they didn't do it.
You want to know something? I know exactly what it was. It was about 7:40 left in the game because I looked to the person to my left. I said, "Guess what? That clock right there. They need to give the offense back with about 5 minutes left on the clock." And it went down to about 6:40, and a minute came off in that very first 3 and out. I was like, "Oh my God, they did their job." Offense failing, like they got to do it again.
All right, this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go back to both of y'all's points. On the scheme side, realistically, if you look at a lot of the teams over the course of the past couple of years, you lead with these next 2 weeks, which are tune-up games.
Sure.
You play against teams that you're supposed to beat to figure out what we need to work on, who is and who is not ready to play. You start off week 1 on the road against honestly, Minnesota has never been a scrub team, ever. And then you're going to play them in a hostile environment. Then you cycle back, you play against Oregon, which Oregon has never been a bad team that you can kind of argue their conference as a whole. You know what I mean? When you're looking at conferences like the Big Ten, the SEC, things like that. So you open up with 2 major opponents and you got to rotate deep. So you have to play some young guys that we talked about a little bit last week to see, okay, how are they going to respond? How are they going to react? You're not playing a Akron, they're not playing a Tulsa, they're not playing a Bowling Green, you know what I mean? Where you're going against teams that, honestly, the freshman team can compete with the starting staff of these teams or the starting group of these teams that we're playing against. So you're trying to make adjustments and trying to figure out what do we need to work on, how do we work on it, how do we change it, how do we make certain adjustments against 2 top-notch teams, and one of these teams are in conference, and the other team at one point in time that's a national championship team. Within the past, 6-7 years? The last time y'all played?
I think that math checks out.
7.
So that plays a big factor in just how scheme goes, just guys being ready, guys being developed, then figuring out, okay, who the hell and who is not going to play. Think about how many guys got rotated in and out the game last week because you're trying to figure out who's going to be that solidified second guy.
Yeah, but why are you trying to figure that out in a big game? I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here on an offensive as an offensive player. We didn't like to rotate that many guys, right? We had our guys. That was what we went with. But these first couple of games, it feels like they've been rotating like 11 dudes at a time.
Well, they got it. They don't have no preseason, so they got to see.
It's early.
I know. We want to do it in these big. You know, we got to get through these 2. We play our best.
We don't know who is the best.
I guess if you don't know that, maybe that's a bigger problem.
Listen.
I feel like you should know who your one.
Could you really play
who your ones are?
15-play snap at 110% if you had to?
Could I what?
Could you play a let's say 15 series snap at 100.
15 plays?
Hey, I done done it.
Not at 100%. You be dog tired.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Right?
I'd have been
BB, I'll tell you this. When I played at Ohio State,
I was
when
playing
I was
fullback and linebacker.
When I was
He was playing 30-play drives.
Hey, listen. When I was on
He
the
ain't got
offensive
to roll up top either, bro.
when I was on the offensive side, and even when I went to defense side, linebackers, DBs aren't rotating.
No.
You rotate up front in the front four.
Correct.
Defensive ends, D tackles. Guess what? You're not doing wholesale substitutions of an entire defense like
Where you're not even
doing
sure
right
you're going to
now.
get set
You're
before
not,
they
You're not
get
doing
snapped.
that.
Right now, I'll tell you this.
Hey, that's like going on the offensive line and doing wholesale
Oh, God,
substitutions.
could you
on the
imagine?
offensive line.
Flashback to your
Quarterback's
linebacker.
yelling out to receivers, and the offensive line's running in, getting set, and we're snapping it right away.
If your D-line is not doing their job up front and you got a 300-plus pound guard coming at you every play because he's tired, he's lazy as hell. So those combo blocks up to you, which are 5 yards deep, that becomes a pain in the ass. You know,
I'll give that to you, though, but you got at least two starters on the defensive line.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. You got Harrison, you got Haskell.
Listen.
That's at least two guys you
gotta
don't.
look interior.
Hey, Didi, guess what?
I'll give you-
Baby.
Easy. Hold him
No,
back.
I was talking about. Talking about defense. Listen, if I'm in that position and I'm the linebacker, there's two things I'm doing. Number one is I'm putting my face mask right in the middle of that 300-pound offensive lineman's chest, and guess what? I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna be there all day long, and I'm gonna put him back in the hole. That's number one. Number two is, guess what?
Right.
After that, then I'm having a talk with my defensive line and say, guess what? If you guys are that tired, you ain't gonna be tired after 3 plays. Let's get 3 and out. Let's get out of here. There's no reason for us to be on a 15-play drive.
I will say that was a
Like, oh my gosh, come on, man!
That was a very
you should never be
motivating
having a
speech.
15-play drive.
You
That's
should,
what I used to.
but
That's what me, Joey, and Mike B used to say. Let's go ahead and get this 3 and out and go sit back
Three and
down.
out.
But it happens though. So
If you can't give 110% for 3 plays, you got a problem.
think about it. But you're right. But I 100% agree with you because me personally, when I play, I don't like being on the field more than 4 plays. I was in shape, but I wasn't that good. I wasn't that good of shape.
No, that D line,
Hey,
that's a dog fight down there.
That's rough.
I think
However, at the end of the day, it's a game. That's going to happen throughout the course of a game. And you got a lot of young guys up front that, honestly, we're going to be honest with you, they were not ready for that type of field yet.
They shouldn't be seeing the field then. And number two is someone needs to step up and say, hey, I don't care how tired you are. I don't care what it is. This is your off-season training. So you're telling me Oregon trained harder than Ohio State did? Because those offensive linemen, those offensive linemen for Oregon, those 230-pound offensive linemen were doing 15 plays.
They might have been.
I will say,
that's the question.
Then that's a problem, boys. That's a problem.
Well, listen.
Hey,
we're going to have a fun time
Timeout.
Come on, I can rebuttal this all day long.
I know you can. That's why I'm calling a timeout right now. I'm checking my calendar. Fall kicks off next week. But it still feels like summer. In fact, it's pretty hot here right now in Columbus. So whatever the temperature is outside, hot or cold, Temperature Pro, your local Bryant dealer, will keep the temperature just right inside your home. Whether your AC is on the fritz or your furnace wasn't doing the job last winter, Temperature Pro will do whatever it takes to make sure you and your family stay comfortable whatever the season. Call today for an appointment or find them online at temperatureprocolumbus.com. Bryant and Temperature Pro doing whatever it takes, and they are the presenting sponsor of Weekend Kickoff, which is brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems and is getting heated. So,
It's getting heated.
Yeah,
I know. I don't even have to say anything.
Wait a minute.
You guys don't run the show.
But he needs to know that you do know that they head coach was a secret agent. Did you know that?
What do you mean
Secret agent?
Wasn't he like a secret agent or something?
I don't know.
I swear, look, they
some
was
with
talking
the
about he had
FBI or something.
Yeah, he was something like James Bond
I'll tell you
type thing.
this, it's a different
So-
Oregon we
He a-
saw
He a bad dude.
than what y'all saw back then.
What's the head coach have to do anything? He's not out on the
He
field.
trained.
different
He
system.
military trained them boys. What's wrong with you? Yeah, they in shape.
Hey, come on, we've all been.
It's a
through
new
Hey,
coach.
we've been all through Coach Mix.
we
It's
all-
a different Oregon than what we
That's
had
what I'm
seen in the
saying.
past.
It's a different. They more physical now.
Yes.
Did you-
He was an
They
offensive
didn't
line
listen to
coach.
tempo either.
Yeah,
Y'all played
offensive line
tempo.
coach, secret agent.
Secret agent. James
Yeah,
Bond.
listen,
James Bond's cousin.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to throw out all these excuses? I'm gonna keep on rebuttaling because I'm gonna say Ohio State. From the program Ohio State is, one of the top 3 programs in the country. If you're at Ohio State, you should be the most in shape, most put together dudes there are. And that's the end of it. You shouldn't be having a program like Oregon. If that's what your guys' defense is, be in better shape, be tougher than us, be bigger than us, be more physical than us. Like that, come on.
Yeah, but I don't think
I'm not
I don't
used
think
to
bigger,
it.
stronger, faster, or in shape
I'm not using
That
it as
much
an
to do
excuse.
when the running back
'Cause I'm about to
is going to the
rebuttal.
outside and there's
I don't gotta
nobody
break up
there,
rebuttal.
right? Because they're falling their keys or whoever.
Well,
nobody's keeping contained.
But
so there's nobody there.
It's not even a contain issue, and we broke this down.
It is. No, yes, it is. Don't.
There was
It
no
is a
contain.
contained issue for sure.
There's no contain.
Well, no,
he's running to the sideline wide open.
It's a contain issue, but it's not because this is my point. Because the guy who was sitting out there, yes, he loses contain, but he's not even reading and reacting. His tight end, who's playing man on, blocks down, and he doesn't have his eyes back in the back of the back. He's going right inside, and he blocked. We broke it down on Buck IQ. Blocked two of our linebackers. At the 2 touchdowns where they went to the other side, our guy blocked 2 of our guys. So
That's
3
what I
guys
said.
were in a thing. So yes, it's contained, but before losing contain, it's I'm reading and reacting. It's I'm playing
that's
football.
different. That's different than being in shape and being able to be out there.
Wait a minute,
for
Zach.
15 drives.
I said that on Twitter. They scolded me. They still scolded
Can't
me.
say anything.
I said exactly what you just said, and they told me I'm just taking up for Coach Cole.
Y'all are being rude.
Hey,
Go ahead,
listen,
Two
sticking up
things.
for Coach
Go
Cole.
ahead, Austin.
They should go to their local Pee-wee football
I
game.
said
And guess
the
what?
same
Mr. Clean.
And you see linebackers making that play.
I said,
Mr. Clean in the pro zone. Hold
Two
on.
things.
I appreciate you, Zach.
2 things.
Tyvis, number 1, give me a Coors Light.
Oh, I'm apologize. I didn't know you was parched.
Well, this
Everybody that's parched, drink Coors Light.
Y'all stressing
the
them out
mountains are,
too.
The mountains are blue.
and this
Made
show,
to chill.
It's much warmer than normal. That's what happens when you lose, right? That's the standard here. Number 2, whatever it takes. We're not doing a player of the week from last week. Coach, player, I don't care. Who has to step up on Saturday? We know Ohio State's going to win this game, right? They're not going to lose this game.
What's the score?
Thought that last
Well, we'll
week.
get to that's the second segment, Tyvis. You know the rundown. But who's got to show something this week to you so that you know things are on track to get this fixed?
I'm going
the
last
whole
for this
dang defense.
I'm going last
BB
for
on the
this segment.
DD.
I'm going last for this segment.
The whole defense.
I'm gonna give an answer that's gonna really fuck.
You know what? You know what? Honestly, can I go first?
Yeah.
If I would love to see our pass rush come back. I would love to see if it's existing again. I don't know. They should be
non-existent all year.
They should be very fresh. They took the week off.
2 weeks off.
Whatever.
He had 1 sack against Minnesota.
Whatever.
Yeah,
It was
the
a
other
big
sack
sack.
was the linebacker.
It was a big sack.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, I would love to see the pass rush. Like we've been waiting for 2 seasons for a D lineman to step up and be the next Chase Young, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, whatever it may be. You can get you some momentum this week. I mean, since this is a quote unquote takeoff week, whatever y'all want to call it, light game, you should get you some momentum.
I like
You should
to call them tune-ups.
tune-ups. Okay, get your
Have you
confidence.
seen the replacement?
Please
That's what they call it.
you should be able to get a lot of confidence off this game that, work your pass rush moves. I just need to see some pressure on the quarterback. I think if we start there, it will open up a lot of stuff, a lot of problems for the defense. We can get our people rushing and getting TFLs and getting sacks. It will open up it will solve a ton of problems on defense.
Okay.
Yes.
Rushman. Jay-Z.
I want to see the offensive line kind of step up a little bit. I think they've done a decent job pass protecting. I thought in the first game, the run game was good to go, but last week, I don't think they were there. I know we had over 100 yards rushing, which is great by, a lot of standards, but I think Ryan likes to come out and show teams in big games, hey, you're not going to be able to stop us. We're going to be able to do what we want to do.
Yeah. And
I don't think that was there because, the run game turns into play action. It turns into big plays downfield. I think we abandoned that pretty quick and then went to our freshman quarterback throwing the ball 54 times. So I think if that offensive line takes charge, I think they will. I think, they got some veteran guys on there who have been around the block. A guy from Massillon, who we know very well there. I mean, I think he needs to get them together. I think they're going to have a better game, and they need to. And they need to use that to continue to build as we get into tougher games as the season goes on.
What do you know about Massillon?
Get out of here.
Tyvis, I don't think those guys can go out there and say, hey, I'm going to work on my pass moves, I'm going to do this. I think they need to go out there and say, hey, I'm playing Oregon again this week, and until we're up by about 4 or 5 touchdowns, then I can start working on my pass moves. Because if they go out there and say, oh, man, I'm playing Tulsa, I'm just going to work on my pass moves, guess what? They're going to get hit right in the mouth again. Here's my smart you-know-what answer, the offense, because they got to score over 50 in order to make sure we win this football game. That's basically what I'm getting at. But other than that, the defense, just the defense, whatever it takes, someone's got to step up and show some leadership. And I swear, I know it feels like I'm ragging this defense. I love them to death.
You doing right. I support everything you say. I'm behind you.
You want to know something? For some people that want to ask, like how people, this is the way I led in college. This is the way it was. You can ask Carlos Hyde that because we got an all-out fist fight in a team meeting. I don't even know if that's supposed to be published.
I was there.
You were there.
That was my first day on the yard.
Got an all-out fist fight in a players-only meeting, right?
Sure did.
Carlos Hyde and I. So guess what? It's just.
Hey, I kept your secret for like 10 years, man.
I'm sorry.
You don't got to keep it no more. You got a great story.
It's just the way I was, but someone's got to step up. Show some leadership, man. The only way that defense is going to get better is by the guys taking ownership on what they do. Yeah, the coaches are going to try and make it simple. Obviously, Ryan's getting involved with defense. You know he's going to go back to very much fundamentals, especially like against a team called Tulsa, right? Or a game like Tulsa, right? 4. Literally, they're going to go back to normal, plain Jane stuff. You got to step up, show some motion, show some effort. There's got to be leadership saying, hey, we got to right the ship right now. We got to do whatever it takes.
Okay.
That's well done. You're a pro at this.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give a very conflicting answer. Person that I feel like needs to step up, Kerry Combs.
That's a great answer.
And this is why.
Great answer.
If you look at historically our defense, like you just said, we've always had athletes that a philosophy that Coach Fickle always had. That's honestly instilled into the culture of the Silver Bullets. Is if we cannot beat a team in our defense, our base defense, we get our asses kicked. I hate to cuss on air, but it is what it is. If you can't let your kahunas drop and you beat the person across from you, you're not going to win. However, there's a lot of things on the back end as a defense that we're struggling with. Giving up certain big plays, allowing we have busted defenses because it's a gap up front based off of what we're calling, what we're running. This is how I look at it. If Coach Combs can get the boys to rally together, he can step up his play calling. Now, granted, I love Coach Combs to death. He drinks 50 cups of coffee every day.
I love Coach Combs,
he drinks a cup of coffee when he works out. I love him to death. However, he stepped into a role that I'm not going to say his feet are too small to fill those shoes. He has the potential to do so. However, he has to do so. So, for me, if Coach Combs can step up as not only a DB's coach but a DC and get these boys to rally and come together and put together a great game plan and get them to buy in as a defense, we'll be fine.
And I think there's things to build on. To BB's point, there are things to build on in this defense. Denzel Burke, hey, welcome, man.
Yes,
you are going to be 100%. An all-out baller. Like,
seat at the table.
I wish that dude played safety, because if he's playing safety, even as a true freshman, you can tell the way he carries himself, the way he talks. He would probably have that defense in line. Love the way he plays. Even Haskell Garrett, man, like he's getting a rush. He's working. He's getting everyone's attention with the way the rest of the defensive line's playing. Yeah, there's some people who don't even know it's a season yet on that defense line. But Haskell Garrett is getting everyone's attention and working really hard, man. And Cody Simon, you need to start at linebacker. Like, this is a dude that's been showing out. He got a sack against Minnesota, is making some plays. You saw him late in the game against Oregon this past weekend. Who was the guy who led the plays? Cody Simon.
Yep.
Like, let him play. Those three guys been doing a lot on the field, so there's things to build on. You just got to build around those guys.
I said this. If you look at a lot of guys on the defense right now, Haskell is one of the major guys that he's seasoned. He got a little bit of Lawry's and a little bit of slap your mama on him. You know what I mean? Everybody else is salt and pepper. They still trying to figure it out. And they got to figure it out. They don't have.
But there's guys who shouldn't be trying to figure it out.
I'm about to say,
there's a lot of guys trying to figure it out. About 24.
They're figuring it out. That should have happened a long time ago.
But they got to do it fast. We don't got those first 2 tune-up games for them to do so.
But they shouldn't. You're at Ohio State, man. Your tune-up games are freaking going against the one offense in training camp.
Yeah, you shouldn't play anybody that's better than what you're playing against in practice.
Like to one of y'all's point, the O-line's the ones that got to show up, right? Some of them O-linemen. I'm not going to – I can't sit up here and say, like, they're ready because, like –
No, I
ain't thought the Minnesota game. I wasn't quite sure.
I had to deal with first year, your brother. You got Pat, you got Billy within that interior. After Jacoby leaves, you got Pat at center, Billy at guard. After that, you have Billy at center. You got a couple younger. So, like, across the board, you've had guys within that O-line room that could teach me as a defensive lineman. Yeah. And every now and then, give me –
all right.
Nice little ass.
Save it. We got a second half of the show that we got to get to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good.
I love you.
not even halftime.
Whatever it takes.
I mean, talk about the offense here.
Josh Proctor's out. We'll get to that, Jay-Z. We got a long way to go.
What is this?
We're worked up. There was a loss. We're all trying to figure out how to deal with it and talk about it. We're going to come back for a lot more Weekend Kickoff. It is brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
All right, taking a break from Weekend Kickoff. It is brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. And this week, to get ready for Tulsa, it's brought to you by Temperature Pro. You can find them at Billingsley and 270.
Yes, sir.
Small company.
Yes.
Customer service.
Yes, sir.
Buckeyes fans.
Yes, sir. All the way through.
All the
and
way.
through.
So, this time of year, as we said, it's we know that some cold weather's coming.
Oh yeah.
What's the thing that a homeowner's got to be ready for as they transition? What do they need to check in with you guys about?
They should always call and get their unit checked out, make sure there's no carbon monoxide leaks. That's the biggest thing to make sure you're safe. Every day is safety for sure. And obviously with the coronavirus, you want to check out your system and make sure your air filter is getting cleaned, I would say monthly nowadays, just to be on the safe side. But there is a lot of good products out there that we can offer you to clean the air and scrub the air to actually kill that virus that's in your home.
I feel like that came up a little bit. Obviously we're all just learning about it last year. That would be the last thing that was on my mind. Like, I need to get this fixed in my own home, but
That's right.
That's obviously critical.
Yeah, and it's I do this for a living, and I forget to change my own filter. I mean, just like anybody, you go home, you don't want to do what you do every day, but that is the most important thing because your filter carries that stuff. It grabs it and catches it, but if you don't take it out and throw it away, you're kind of just recirculating that to an extent, and that's where service contracts are huge to have us come out at least every 3 to 4 months to check your system and make sure that it's clean and operating efficiently.
So if you're trying to get in touch with Temperature Pro, as you said, it a little bit maybe smaller.
Yes.
Personal service.
Personal service.
The advantage of that, to
Yes.
calling you guys up.
You will most likely see the same or me or another technician, and we try to keep them at your home because they get comfortable with you, comfortable with your system, and it just makes for an easier process of we don't have to learn your system or learn where it's at, how it works. The same technician usually goes out to the same house and takes care of it, and they build that relationship so there's no worry going forward.
All right, what are we going to see on Saturday, Ohio State and Tulsa? I know you've got some suggestions.
I mean, I'm hoping for at least a 40 burger on our side and maybe keep it under 20. Throw the dime defense in there or something.
Throw some change-ups.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, you can trust this guy. Shane knows what he's talking about. He's got some suggestions for the defense. He and Temperature Pro can definitely help you out at home. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys are great.
All right, we're back to the show. All right, welcome back to Weekend Kickoff, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. Regrouped a little bit, got some more ice-cold Coors Light. We might dial up the temperature again, though. The way things are going,
Getting spicy in here.
It's been in fuego. It's not just the lights. Phoebe's going to be sweating no matter what.
Yeah,
Always. I'm dark.
You can ask my fiance.
A lot of
I
heat.
woke up this morning. She goes, "What's the matter with you?" I was like,
I was wondering.
You got a lot on your mind. Got a lot on your mind.
We talked earlier in the week, and I wonder, by Thursday night, is he still going to be fired up? He's. I got my answer.
The answer is yes.
I might still be fired up after Saturday's game.
Well, when BB was asking if you could go out and play a 15-play drive, I was thinking, yeah, he wants to right now.
Oh, BB, I was about to come back and say, put me in for a 100-play game. I'm in.
Yeah, it sounds good until you got to do it. When your ass pursuing sideline to sideline.
All right, Byers
I love
Auto.
you, though.
It was sent in. It was the Byers Auto question for the Buckeyes. Brought to you by our good friends, obviously, at Byers Auto.
Am I Cardell this week? Jay-Z's Cardell this week.
We're going to give it to
It's
you.
just for all the Buckeyes.
Oh, okay.
And the question is about C.J. Stroud. And there are people out there, and Ryan Day was for some reason asked about this on Tuesday. Should somebody else have been given a chance?
Stop it.
Kyle McCord. I don't understand.
That's blasphemy.
I don't understand it.
That's blasphemy.
So you guys get to take that. This is a freshman quarterback through 2 games. He has almost 800 yards passing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that even would have been a game last week without C.J. Stroud. But that was out there.
That's blasphemy.
Did anyone who wants to say C.J. Stroud should have been benched. Were they watching the same game we were last week? And were they watching the run game that Ohio State had? I'm going to throw another fact out there. Normally, I'm not a fact guy or stats guy. I don't love them. But I think Ohio State ran for, 128 yards last week? Yeah. 128, 127?
Yep.
In my mind, running that many offensive snaps is what they did in 120, 127 yards. I don't think that's on the running backs. I was on the offense line up front. Just so people know, as I'm very opinionated tonight.
Well, Travion, there were a lot of plays that were blocked for 1 or 2, and Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams were getting 4 and 5.
Yeah, they were getting 4 or 5, right? But the way that run game was going, it was one-dimensional offense.
Yeah.
And they knew it. I mean, Oregon knew it. You got to a point where you're so far behind that the defense can't make a stop. You're going out and you're throwing. They knew the offense line couldn't get a push up front. C.J. Stroud is basically having to go win them the game. He threw it 54 times?
54 times.
54 times?
54 times.
Yeah, for a freshman.
Could have added my first 3 games together, and I wouldn't have hit 54 times.
I thought that Jay-Z would be the most worked up for this question, but Zach.
No, because people want to get because people always want to get worked up over the quarterback. This kid literally did everything he possibly could. Him and the wide receivers in the pass blocking by the running backs, flawless. They get a 10 for their performance against Oregon. A 10.
A 10.
I feel like Billy Bob.
A 10.
Yeah.
Miss Davis, we go.
It can't be a 10 and a loss.
The thing about
9.9.
You talked about people being humbled earlier, DB. Our fans need to be humbled a little bit because they're putting C.J. Stroud on this pedestal that
they compare
was Justin Fields, who at this point last year, if I remember correctly, had maybe 1 incompletion.
Well, Bobby told me that it's a standard that's been set. So.
That's stupid.
Bobby told me.
And Bobby told me. Bobby will tell people a lot of things. It's not a standard. I mean, even last year when that was happening, I remember saying people don't understand how hard and how lucky you have to be to only have 1 completion through 2 games. I mean, you have drops, you have tips, you have all sorts of things that can happen.
Stroud has had drops.
He has had drops. Now, I will say this. He's overthrown a couple guys.
Mm-hmm.
But he started off on the road against a Big Ten opponent in a hostile environment in the wind and the rain.
Right.
And then he came to the shoe the first time he's ever seen 100,000 people in a stadium. If they got to 100,000.
He's also hurt.
I was going to get to that. It's going to be number 3.
Okay.
So he's in Ohio Stadium for the first time.
I want to make sure that you were aware.
With 100,000 people. Has a couple overthrows. Has a couple of drops. Throws the ball 54 times. Completes, 35 of them. Pretty good day. And then you see him walking around doing this, and we know he was on a pitch count during the camp. What's going on there? Nobody's said anything about that. At least I haven't read anything about it. So he might not be 100%. He's out there throwing the ball 54 times. He's carrying the offense because there was 128 yards is great.
Not great.
Well, I mean, if you go into a game, you say we want to get over 150 yards or rushing and a 250 yards passing. So it's not that bad. In the game, like you said, 1 to 2 yard runs, we're going for 3 to 4 because of our backs, not because of the offensive line. So, I mean, he's out there basically on his own. We're down. We're throwing the ball. As a freshman, I mean, give me a break. I mean, almost 800 yards through 2 games. His completion percentage is, exactly over 60. I didn't do the math on that before I came down.
Why is there so much math in the show this week?
It's insane that these people think.
I got a B- in 1075.
Honestly, Austin, what it is that CJ got all these quote-unquote 5-star quarterbacks behind him. And if he doesn't...
But he is a 5-star.
I know. But every curiosity is what the problem is. Well, everybody wants to see what the other quarterback can do instead of appreciating the one that you got.
Right.
So now every time you look at him, you look at what's wrong and not recognizing what he's actually doing right.
Sure.
And that's what the problem is. So people just need to be appreciative. I mean, the man did everything he could. He fought to the very last second to try to
They didn't lose that game because of him.
So I don't...
Not even close.
No, he's the one that kept him in the game.
So, yeah, that's black. That question's black.
They always say the backup quarterback is, the most popular quarterback in town other than when I was there.
What do you know about that?
Other than when I was there. But the fact is, they named this guy 2 weeks to go, or 2.5 weeks before the season starts. So they knew this was their guy. It didn't come down to the week of the game. Oh, we don't know who we're going to go with. That should make you feel a little bit more comfortable saying the coach is Ryan Day, who everybody loves, and we all know he's a great coach, believes this is his guy.
Right.
He gave it to him in the middle of camp, the last couple of weeks of camp. you're the one. You're not going to pull that guy in game number 2 when you're at home and against a top 15 team in Oregon where he's thrown the ball 54 times and he's got 400 and some yards pass. I mean, give me a break.
Well,
these people are insane.
And Buckeye fans think a 5-star quarterback walks out looking like Justin Fields and performs like Justin Fields. People don't realize Justin Fields was, and no offense to Jay-Z, probably the most gifted quarterback to ever come through Ohio State.
100%.
Athletically, the way he could throw the ball, the way he could run.
No offense to Jay-Z.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
That's the greatest
I appreciate it. It is.
Ever.
It is. Like I was about to get mad about that or something.
No offense. No offense. But, everyone expects them to be the next Justin Fields, and they're not. Justin Fields is once-in-a-generation
and to touch on that a little bit more,
it's a standard.
How many DBs did we have go in the top 5 back to back to back or whatever it was? And it just happened that we replaced him, and then there was another guy who got drafted high again.
It's the standard.
So everybody just humble pie for the fans. It doesn't happen like that every year. You're not going to have. It's not going to be that way.
According to Bobby Carpenter, it's the standard.
Bob.
I say this: when it comes down to CJ, number one, I'm bought into CJ 100%. Especially for him to go out and perform the way that he did and put up the numbers that he did as a freshman. And then you go into a big-time game like that and you have to step up when the run game is not as efficient as we're used to seeing. Defensively, we're not executing as efficiently as we're used to seeing. And at some point in time, he made a decision within that game to say, you know what, I'm gonna put it on my shoulders as a starting quarterback. I have to step up and do what I need to do. And it's hard to ask, honestly, a lot of players, let alone a freshman quarterback at Ohio State, to do so. You know what I mean? So, and then, people, you cycle back to the years of Justin Fields. Justin Fields, even when he played his first year, was my senior year, there was games where he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a great game, and he got crucified. However, within that year, too, we had a phenomenal defense. Our defense as a whole played well to where you had guys around him to allow him to learn, to allow him to make mistakes, learn from these mistakes, and then on the back end, excel. That's why going into his following year, he played as well as he did. You know what I mean? Right now, we are struggling on every cylinder, and he's having to step up and take on a bigger role, and honestly, than he should have to. He shouldn't have the weight of the world that he has on his shoulders because as a team, we are struggling in so many other areas.
Yeah, that's basically what Ryan Day said when asked about that. We have to help him more as Ohio State, and that means defensively, that means maybe some coaching decisions, whether he needs to play field position or kick field goals or wide receivers. Talking about 3, I'm not even going to say 2 anymore. They're 3 best receivers maybe in the country with what Jackson Smith and Jigba is doing. They can't afford to make mistakes either. That's the standard right now. Anyway, that's the Buyer's Auto question for the Buckeyes.
Great question.
It was awesome. That was some great insight. And now we get to go drink some more Coors Light, cool down, and make some silver bullet picks. I've been really wrestling with it this week. I know Ohio State's going to win. I don't know what's going to happen on Saturday at 3:30. I don't know what coach is going to be where. I don't know who's going to play safety. I don't know if Seven Banks is going to be back in the lineup. I have so many questions that I didn't think we would have after 2 weeks. So I'm going to go last.
I think
like
Seven
I
needs to stop thinking he's a first-round draft pick. That's his.
I haven't heard or know what's going on there, but
that's
we need Seven to be Seven. We need to be on the field.
It's tricky. I don't know what they got going on.
Something happened there.
Because they tell me that he's healthy.
He is healthy.
But he's not.
He is healthy.
Playing.
He's not playing in the 2 biggest games of the year.
So something.
I think he needs to get his mind right.
I don't know if we going on. I don't know if he did talk to somebody that told him it's in his
group chat.
It's in his best interest not to play or something. But
now with the young guys,
you got to get out on that field. We ain't doing that.
I'll tell you this much: you match up. You tell me if I'm defense coordinator, you tell me to run Seven Banks or Denzel Burke out there. I'm running.
I'm running Denzel for sure.
But coming to the year, you weren't saying
Denzel is battle tested.
Seven was supposed to be the guy this year.
Yeah, he was.
On Saturday, you could buy a Seven Banks NFT, but you couldn't watch him play against Oregon.
Are you serious?
That's the
I don't know what that's.
Maybe that therein lies the problem.
I don't know.
I don't even know what an NFT is.
He gonna let this moment pass him by.
Right? We're going to go.
We're doing score predictions?
Yeah.
Score predictions.
Oh, okay.
56-31 Buckeyes.
56-31.
56-31.
So fourth straight game with 30 points allowed coming from Zach Boren.
I like that, actually.
Truth-
the last three games we've played, we've given up over 30 points, right?
It's a betting trend.
It is a trend.
I wasn't going to say it. I was waiting for you to say it.
Driving over to Indiana.
You better than me.
Who likes overs?
What is we're 26-point favorite?
I might start betting the over every time Ohio State plays this year.
Seems like a good.
Gonna hit.
All right, I'm going to go 48-17. Buckeyes.
48-17.
Well, you know what? So on Monday,
Well, you get to think about it because you get.
I know I done had some. I done had some,
is it gonna be different?
Yeah, I had some time to think
okay.
about it. Now I do understand. Now on Monday I said it was gonna be 32-17.
It's an interesting
And,
number.
and it seemed disrespectful because Bobby
was Nicole there?
Bobby said,
That sounds like a number she would have put out.
Bobby said that Ryan Day can't score 35 points, then it's an issue. So I'm going to say I don't want to.
Wait, are we going to say that Bob was right?
Ooh.
Let me finish.
It's a standard.
I don't want to
Please don't be
disrespect.
standard.
I don't want to come off as like disrespectful, but 34-17. Okay, it's 34, and it's going to be close at halftime.
So Bob can't be given credit for that, but you did think there was maybe.
I thought about it.
Okay, I got you.
I gave him two more.
Made him-
34.
It made
I
him
love
think.
17.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thought-provoking.
BB.
I'm going to go 56-21 because just like at times the players are always under pressure, especially after a big loss, your defensive coordinator is under pressure after a big loss. And he's getting a lot of backlash and a lot of criticism. And I think now as a staff, everybody is kind of going to have to be on their P's and Q's. Primarily him. He has to be on his P's and Q's. I think they're going to do everything that they can to put together a great defensive plan to make sure that these boys excel and play at a high level and show just how well Ohio State's defense is as a whole. I got to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to take it.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Now, are you keeping the same score from Monday, or?
I didn't make one.
Oh, you
because
didn't.
I'm gonna tell you right now. This game gonna let you know one thing. It's gonna let the defense is gonna tell what they think of their defensive
100%.
coordinator. Because if you care about that guy, you love that guy, and you want to fight, you gonna fight for that
Which
guy.
you
And that's
think
why
everybody does,
the
right?
league-
You would
played
think.
for him,
You
right?
would think.
I mean,
You
guys did, right?
It's a statement. I'm gonna watch it closely.
I'll
They
say-
go out there. They should be licensed. At this point, we trying to keep. We want him to keep his job. He's trying to feed his family.
Yeah, I like
Tyvis,
If that's the
I'ma
case,
tell
if I
you
got that much respect for you and I love you that much, I'm not gonna let you. I'm gonna go out there and do everything
Hey.
I can so you can keep your job.
Tyvis,
If I'm the
think about
defense
this.
coordinator, I'm handing out
What the-
invitations Friday night at the hotel to everyone. To all the defensive players, and the invitation side is going to be like, I'm going to invite you to make a play tomorrow. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell you, okay.
I thought you were going to go for my retirement party.
As a person, as a
boy.
coach, is a great person. He is, in my personal opinion, the original DBU. He is the reason why our DBs in the past have been successful. However, Coach Combs was just that, though, the DB's coach. Now he's the DB's coach and the DC, so his role is a lot bigger. So getting guys to buy in other rooms is a lot harder to do compared to in the past. At one point in time, you had Coach Fickle. Coach Fickle is one of the epitomes of a silver bullet. Played there, coached there. He kind of helped mold
mentality
some
is
of
the
the
silver
mentality.
bullet,
You know what I mean?
yes.
So he really helped mold and at times advance the silver bullet mentality. After that, you got Greg Schiano, which he
We all know how that went.
no
Yeah,
comment.
but
I got a lot to say
I
to
know,
that.
but BB, this shouldn't be a buying into conversation. If you're not buying into a coach or you're not buying into the system, transfer. Hey,
Yeah.
guess what? Hey, the
It's
door's
easier-
open
it's
now.
easier than ever now.
Hey,
That-
hey,
but
guess
that
what?
is
The
the
door's
issue.
open.
So
So
that
guess
is
what?
the
I
issue.
come from the standpoint of in high school, it doesn't matter who the defense coordinator was, who the head coach was.
That's how I
Guess what?
was.
You better respect
Correct.
him. You better buy into
Correct.
it.
That's what I
Guess what? I
said.
played for 3 head coaches in 4 years. The guys that were in my class, it didn't matter what it was.
Right.
Guess what? You better buy into what he's preaching.
But I'll tell you this though, you and I ain't trying to put your age out there. You played in a different era and environment.
Thank you for
And
not putting his age out there, because-
And this thing, I've met your pops too. Your pops don't play that as well. So you were just raised differently. A lot of these kids are not like that. Nowadays is the
Maybe
instant.
he's 4 years older than you.
He's a high character
Have
guy.
you seen his head? He bald.
High character.
It
High
is what it
char-
is.
it's a lot of
Correct.
high character
High character
guys.
families.
You
High
met-
character
I just
families.
wanted to point
But
that
this is
high
what I'll
character
say.
guy.
You've met my mom. She's a thug. She's
Not again.
crazy as hell.
Not
You
again.
feel me? So you are just as far as like when it comes to getting coached.
You just call your mom a thug?
Oh, 100%.
Thug life.
She's I was about to say.
I say the same thing about Bill sitting back.
off
I say the
ball.
same thing about myself.
I love it.
The Coors Light is great tonight, folks.
That was beautiful. But it's the
Cold.
thing. Like a lot of today's team is like number one is instant. Number two is social media. Number three, it's easy for them to transfer. It's like when you play, and even my freshman year, if you play a snap, you don't get a red shirt. I mean, now you get 4 games before you red shirt, and then if you play those 4 games and you're not happy or satisfied with what you see, you can transfer out and don't have no consequences. You know what I mean? So it's not the same. You don't have to make that same commitment that you had to make when you played.
That's the problem. Who cares about social media? Who cares about how sweet you look on the field? Who cares about your NIL, whatever? Guess what? You come to Ohio State to win football games, compete, and guess what? You go to the NFL from there. That's all that matters. By showing up and saying, hey, I look sweet with my armbands. Hey, my social media is sick. Hey, I'm posting some cool photos. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm take some pictures of me in my suit walking off the bus. That doesn't get you anywhere, bro. And that's the problem nowadays with kids coming into college. It's a huge problem.
I
Guess what?
agree.
It might get you a deal.
That boy preacher right there.
It might get you a deal, but it doesn't do anything for your team.
You just said what I just preached.
That's the sad truth about college football nowadays.
BB, this whole conversation is coming full circle because you guys were saying I was wrong from the effort.
Whoa!
No,
I never said that. I said I agree.
You guys said that.
Hey, this is a effort and energy thing on the field. And guess what? It all starts off the field because these guys think they're walking on the field, and just because their social media is sweet, they got all this stuff, they got these NIL deals, think that they're going to win football games. That doesn't do anything.
And that is the problem. So that right there takes away from a lot of the focus of a lot of these guys. I hate to say it. When you play, how many times a week did they really post highlight videos? And how much did you ask, hey, can you send me a picture
I never
so I
asked.
can post?
Zero.
What does that have to do with anything?
How many
I
guys?
never asked.
That's what it comes
That's
down
what I'm saying. They're heading in different places right now.
all that don't mean nothing when you're on the field.
Right, but it's the thing, if you're not
Taken
on
away from the field,
on
though.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before Saturday, it's going to take away from your game on Saturday. That is the problem.
It's not true. Social media was big when I played, and we won the national championship.
I've seen more guys post about them
social
getting a
media
new
too.
car
Facebook
now.
was invented when I played.
I've seen more guys post about them getting a new car now than they posted a game day picture.
BB, that's the problem. These guys, but that's not a coaching thing. That's not coaching. That's
It's player.
It's
So-
player.
Right.
So that's why I said
but the
someone
player-
needs to step
Locker
up and
room.
have a team only and have a player only meeting. And guess what? Start calling dudes out because guys finally need to say, hey, listen, if you ain't coming with us and you care more about your car picture on social media than you do beating dudes' faces in on Saturdays,
Right.
guess what? Stay in the hotel.
Quick question.
Players
Hold on.
gotta buy into
There are no
that.
more questions.
I got to ask
Go
because
drive your truck around.
if
270
you do sign an NIL deal, right? If like say you
I
play
wish
for
they had it when I was
and
in
you
school.
transfer, what happens to the deal?
Well,
That's a great
that company better have some language in that contract. Where
I guess that company's
got
expanding.
to sign the right contract.
you saw Megatron wants 1.6
What?
from the
They
Lions.
said, well,
That's what's going to happen.
I would say this.
You got to pay us some money back. You're not here for the 4 years.
Well,
If you're signing with somebody in Columbus or Urban Meyer's Pint House or Byers Auto and you leave Ohio State, Byers Auto is not going to give you that truck when you leave
No.
and go play somewhere
Give
else.
me that back.
Y'all
This
can pay
was-
me. I'm in Dayton. I ain't going nowhere.
This was the
Keys,
Coors
please.
Light pick segment, and my pick is that Ohio State is going to win. Since we got to get out of here, I don't even have time to make it anymore.
yes, you do. You got to throw a score out there.
63.
Ooh. Oh,
I like
the
it.
offense
63,
is
keep on
not the
going.
problem.
I don't know how many they're going to give up. 63 to X.
24 to X.
63-24.
There's a
Ohio
good
State
one for
wins.
you.
63-24.
Okay.
Ohio State wins. Saturday, 3:30. Thank you.
34.
Urban Meyer.
34-17.
There he is. He's got it.
It's over.
Not a cover and the under. I think Tyvis might have made the worst pick of the week. I guess
Yep.
we'll see.
Twice.
Until it come true.
And he changed it, and it was still bad.
Shut up.
Never know.
We'll write it down.
Listen, when it comes true, y'all gonna call me a prophet.
Hey, we're
maybe.
wrapping this up.
We'll check it out next week. This has been the first and hopefully the last one for a long time.
That I've been here. Yep.
Weekend kickoff after a loss. They get a lot more weird, but it was fun anyway. Thanks to Urban Meyer's Pint House, Coors Light, Zach Boren, Justin Zwick, Tyvis Powell, BB Landers. I am Austin Ward. Bryant Heating and Cooling Weekend Kickoff brought to you by Lettermen Row. We will see you next week.